You know, when I talk to casuals and I tell them that I have a Houston centric hockey based podcast, I typically get the same reaction, which is, what could you possibly have to talk about when Houston doesn't have an NHL team? And I get the question, but man, I've been compiling stuff for a while for you and I to talk about because we haven't spoken directly in over 2 months. It's been interviews and they've been fantastic interviews and I've really enjoyed them. And if you haven't had a chance to look at them, go back, do that. Talking to Jack Stanfield, Houston hockey icon, friend of Houston hockey, 1974 Arrows WHA Avico Cup champion. We talked to the ladies of the Women's Hockey Outreach Association of Houston. We talked to Mark Tushnet with, among other things, the Oil Kings Hockey Club and the Memorial Day Shootout. Lance Rosenberg of Hockey Players in Business Houston and Hockey Day in Houston. Michelle Petit, 18-year NHL career, and the members of Hockey Day in Houston as a collaborative interview. Please check those out if you haven't already. But this whole time, I'm like, okay, well, there's other stuff that I want to talk about. And just quick bullet points, because we're not getting to all of them tonight. Heated rivalry. I've been meaning to talk about that for a while now. Atlanta has overtaken Houston in terms of the next expansion franchise. Yes, they have too. And I'm a little concerned about Houston's lack of public action anyway. Either we're not doing anything or what we're doing is bizarrely kept secret, and that needs to change. We got third jerseys coming. Rice won their first game, which Cougs, I want to stay in love with you, but that's hard. It's getting difficult. I still love you. We had a stadium series that was worth looking at. Yeah, sure, the seats are still far away from the action, but it was cool looking. It looked great on TV, and that's the whole point, right? We had the annual player poll from the Athletic, and the Athletic player poll says that if we're doing expansion, players want Houston too. Not that it matters. We've had a gold medal, and then we had another gold medal. And after all that, Strake Jesuit wins the ISHL Justice Cup. And then we have yet a third gold medal, establishing USA hockey dominance. Of all people, Barbie has partnered with CCM. We got neo-Nazis showing up to hockey games now. And don't tell me that's a Roman salute. I know my history, probably better than you. You understand that that salute got co-opted by Hitler and it has a completely different meaning. And that's a no. Just don't. Oh, yeah. We got a hockey team coming. We got news of a documentary on Houston hockey. That's pretty damn exciting. We had the Houston Hockey Hall of Fame banquet, which was beautiful. And in all that, 3 high school hockey players got a Hal Foundation scholarship. We had Hockey Day in Houston itself. We have a PWHL attendance record. Toyota Center is getting renovated, and bizarrely, someone thought, you know what this place needs? Not a hockey team, it needs an atrium. The PWHL is expanding.
Again?
Yes, again, this time to Detroit, amongst other somewhere else. And then the NHL playoffs are starting, and if you're looking at this bracket that I have, I'm recording this on Friday night before the game starts. So it might shuffle between now and publication date. My analytics are telling me that for the long form videos, you guys tend to tune in on Sunday mornings, which I don't know, but that's what it says. So, all right, cool. Get the people what they want. Fresh content on a Sunday morning. So with all these things, and it's a list of like 20 things, I'm like, all right, well, what do we focus on? And it is a Houston-centric podcast, so I'm going to focus on the Houston material. I don't want to talk about the Bulls just yet. And the reason for that is I put in an interview request. Yesterday, I got a positive response from it. And it looks like just scheduling, but everyone's busy and, no pressure. But I don't want to start speculating when it's just as easy to talk to someone who knows, right? So if you got questions, hey, hang on to them and hopefully we can get them answered, maybe in a live stream, maybe just in an interview. I don't details have it was like a beginning back and forth of a conversation, right? Actually, there is something about the Bulls that I want to mention. Um, in that there's a couple of, and I think even the Chronicle was guilty of this, although if that's been corrected or if I'm just mistaken, forgive me. But there's been a couple of news outlets, local news outlets, that have reported minor league hockey is returning to Houston. And no, it isn't. No, it isn't. This is junior. So, minor leagues, you have guys that are looking to get to the pros. Okay. Like, I want to say it's roughly a quarter of AHL players will make it to the NHL. Like about, I want to say it was 5%, 10%. It was lower of ECHL players. Those are minor league hockey players. Okay. Junior is, those guys are looking to either go to a major junior league, and that's a pathway to ECHL and AHL. But most of them are looking to go NCAA Division One, and that is a viable path to the NHL. But a fraction of a percentage of these players will actually make it to the NHL. Right? These are younger, to me, kids because I'm in my 50s. Um, but it's happened. The most famous example being, oh, hey, here, haha, yeah, this dude who played for Odessa. And this is where you go, well, wait a minute. How did Odessa get a team before Houston? And I'm right there with you. But played junior, and then eventually, college, and then, now obviously, gold medal winner, right? Okay, so with the exception of the Bulls, and more to discuss, but not right now, all right? Um, there's like 20 different things to talk about, and it's impractical to try to cover them all in an episode. So, given that this is a Houston centric uh, podcast, I think the way to go here is to talk about Hockey Day in Houston. And I know the last few episodes have been regarding Hockey Day, but I think it's worth re-examining. It's worth keeping in the forefront of our mind because it is the biggest hockey event we have right now, right? So let's start. And honestly, maybe Hockey Day, I'm not suggesting a rebrand or, let's change the name of all this stuff, but it's kind of a misnomer because it's more of a hockey weekend when you consider that we have the banquet for the Hall of Fame and then Hockey Day itself, and then there's that kids tournament. But I experienced the Hall of Fame banquet and Hockey Day itself, and Hall of Fame banquet was beautiful. If you went to last year's St. Arnold's event, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody because I know, like Tush said when we talked to Tush, he says a lot of good people do a lot of hard work for Hockey Day, and that's absolutely true. But this year's banquet was just leaps and bounds. It was gorgeous. Um, and it was a lovely evening. The ladies from Woe, primarily, as I understand it, did the setup for the Silver Street Studios. Hang on, right here. So Hall of Fame pucks, and they make centerpieces. I mean, I've since put it in a thing, but they made centerpieces out of the Hall of Fame pucks. And in fact, it looks so good with the uplighting and everything else that someone said, "This is what happens when you put women in charge." All right, fair enough, because it was great. Craig Cohen with Houston Public Media hosted and did a fantastic job. In fact, the wife and I were sitting at his table, and it was weird because we're kind of saying to each other, "It's like he looks familiar." It's like, yeah, we just watched a video with him. It's like the day before. And he had this, we're just making casual small talk, and he had this file folder with like notes in it. It's like, oh, that's how about, and then he goes up there to the podium. It's like, ah, right. Yeah, didn't think about it. We were sitting behind the Howes and Mr. Stanfield and Mrs. Stanfield, and didn't bother anybody. Didn't want to do that. And I know if you're going to bother people, that's the venue to do it. But it's like I just don't want to. Plenty of people to talk to and hang out with. It was totally fun, but it's kind of neat. The committee graciously allowed me to be part of a Hall of Fame award presentation to Pete Deneen on behalf of his father, Bill. Bill Deneen, coach of the WHA Arrows, and Pete, you may recall, director of player personnel. I think I have that right for the IHL version of the Arrows. And I think he eventually moved to general manager. I could have looked this up. I think I'm right. Um, and just there. I mean, I'm aware of um my place in everything. So it was nice to be included in that, but I didn't even touch the award to present it to him. I just wasn't comfortable, you know. But we had our six Hall of Fame winners. All this was announced previously. Our three scholarship winners, and something that I was thinking when they were talking about these scholarship winners, because they list their credentials. That's the wrong word, like resume, history, whatever. They tell us about each of these three scholarship winners, and they just keep going on and on with their academic awards and extracurriculars and how they contribute to local hockey. And I don't. I was thinking it. I think my wife turned to me and said it. She's like, "When do these kids sleep?" And they're just cannot be overstated. These and I'll say kids. I'm not trying to insult them, but again, I'm in my 50s. You're a kid till you're like in your mid 20s. All right, and just impressive young people. Um, Evening ended was supposed to end with a Q&A session, but second year in a row there was no Q&A session because the inductees would rather hang out, and that was kind of, I don't know, it was a cool vibe, so and it worked. Um, Obviously, Chi got accepted or inducted rather into the Houston Hockey Hall of Fame. And did you notice that the league paid attention to our sleepy little town? So that was kind of nice too. Um, spend a little bit of time talking to Jennifer Streeter. You know her work from Sports Illustrated. And of course, ran into an old friend, and it's cool having all these people that are invested in hockey in Houston come together for what was a lovely evening. The food was fantastic, the evening ambiance, everything. But of course, you got to call it an early evening because the next day, Hockey Day in Houston. Yeah, let's talk about Hockey Day in Houston, shall we? And if I'm talking Hockey Day in Houston, then I need to start with the disclosure that I didn't see as much as I would have liked because I had a table and I didn't see most of the show event. There you go. I spent a little bit of time, but I kind of did a quick run through, because the wife was kind enough to come with me, and I didn't want to leave her at the table for something I was doing. I mean, it, she was cool with everything, but like every time I left, I'd come back to be someone at the table, and it's like I don't want to burden her with this. You know what I mean? Um, but 6,000 people, that's an AHL crowd. 6,000 people taking over St. Arnold's brewery for hockey, and there wasn't even a game, and you drew an AHL crowd. The Bulls had a presence there. The Stars had a presence there. Obviously, Vic was there. They were doing their street hockey thing again. Um, Sled hockey was there. There was a they didn't have the dunk ref this time. They had more of a splash zone thing. And at one point, one of the refs that was in the splash area came by, and he was he was drenched. I mean, it's for fun. I mean, they're raising money. And he said something about there being slime of some kind in there too. So, all right, look fun, you know. Um, Now, Savage, why didn't you live stream? Honestly, because I kept getting people in. Like I had a quick live stream in the morning, and it was maybe 10 minutes, and I didn't say much other than get over here because it's cool. Because it was. And one other thought before we move on, something that my friends who want to see the show do well because they know I'm working on the show. You know, they're asking me, okay, well, did you get a lot of interviews? I got one. Yeah. Did you get a lot more subscribers? I got a few more. Yeah. Yeah. Or make connections for opportunities. Well, that's not the point. It's not a mercenary thing. Okay. Um, I had a great time. I had a fantastic time, just like the year before and the year before. But this one was particularly special because people walking up to engage with the show and by extension me. I got to meet some of y'all that comment on stuff and respond on social media, and Moss and Lynn and others, and that was cool. And the wife's like, "All right, well, what did you think after doing all that?" And it's like, you know, I got to talk hockey all day long. And in this town, that doesn't happen that often. Like, unless you're a player and you hang out with other players. But like, sometimes I'll get to talking about arenas or land deals, or there's a junior team coming, and sometimes I kind of see the strain in my friends' voices, in my friends' faces as they're listening to me drone on about hockey. And man, they're just all day like-minded people. I didn't talk to 6,000 of you, but there's 6,000 of you that give a damn enough to come out and spend a weekend to talk hockey, and that in and of itself is a blessing. Okay, without further ado, let's move on. So I have a couple of favorite parts. One of them, Tush came and grabbed me and sent me over to the Champions Poker Club table, and they're doing the booth thing right. However, the rest of us are doing this is, I just felt so stupid for having my Walmart canopy that, yes, I'm replacing. I saw how it looked, and my table and all that other stuff. With my lawn chairs, and I thought I was being smart in bringing a butt cushion for the folding chair. But the Champions guys, I mean, they got a big old canopy with shade, and they got that nice uh, felt poker table with the leather or vinyl bumpers, and they had those nice comfy chairs. That was primo. I could have spent some time there, and I mean, I've spent time at Champions. That was a good time. And yes, Cinderella is joining me off camera here if you hear her purring. Um, and another favorite uh, portion. So I'm out there, and by the way, I over ordered my swag by a lot. So if we're at an event, don't be surprised if I try to put a koozie in your hand, or a foam puck, or I don't have any within arm's reach, a sticker. More on stickers. Oh yeah, I do. Um, well, whatever. You've seen the stickers. You know what my logo looks like. And the wristbands. Don't be surprised if I try to put a bunch of crap into your hand. Um, but I have my stickers laid out and stuff, and this kid comes up. He's 11. He tells me he's 11. Well, I asked him, but whatever. And he's like, "I'll trade you stickers," and I'm like, "Take a sticker." And you're like, "No, let me here. I'll take two of yours, and I'll give you two of mine." So his sticker here, I got on my laptop here. This right here, the the Houston Havoc, which I didn't even know existed, but they're a travel team. So there you go. There's a sticker. What am I saying? Two of mine. He gave me two of his. Yeah, the mirror image is going great of the Houston Havoc. So I don't know. I didn't know y'all were a thing, guys, but I'm a fan now because I appreciate anyone who waves their own flag and toots their own horn. If there's anything Ali taught us, it's that people don't recognize when you're doing something right. You got to promote yourself. So good job there, kids. Um, so there was that. My table was on the other side of all the action. So yay. Um, I mean, less foot traffic, but in terms of broadcast, or not that I broadcasted, I had like a quick 10-minute live stream at the very beginning, and it just said, "Hey, come on out because we're having a good time." Um, but I did get to talk to Terry Ruskowski. And it was nice to be away from the big crowds and reduce a lot of that noise. Um, so that was cool. And I was across from this vendor that put out this shirt called Beer League Warriors Apparel. They have a bunch of stuff. I'll link their website in the show notes. But the back of this shirt, check this out. You can see it hits me exactly where I live. It's got that history plus, uh, obviously, promoting Houston hockey. The dude running it is also a historian, which I appreciate. Um, so anyway, about that interview with Terry Ruskowski, one of the reasons why it took me so long to get an episode out, aside from catching up on things and just being a busy adult, um, is that I get the call early in the day that Terry is available for an interview, and I'm like, oh hell yeah! And wouldn't you know it, though, I'm just setting up. And as I'm setting up, I'm testing all the tech, and stuff that was working the night before isn't working the morning of. And then it's like, hey, Ruskowski's available. Whoopsies. Um, so I had to makeshift a workaround, and I got mic bleed. So thank God for Adobe Podcast. Found out there's an enhanced audio feature that I was previously unaware of. I was looking for different solutions here, but I just ran through Adobe Podcast. Full disclosure, Ruskowski's voice in places sounds a little robotic. Sorry, but the audio is a lot better than it was. That's why I'm putting it towards the end of the episode today. Um, and things that work the night before don't really work, the day of, right? That's just Murphy's law. So because the software I use is really more for video conferencing more than it is for side by side interviews. I basically videoed conference and used my camera or use my phone as another camera. And stuff that works at home in your backyard doesn't necessarily work at the beer garden when the Wi-Fi is overburdened. So fear not, just like the Hockey Day committee is like making a list of, all right, well, these are things we can improve on. And by the way, everything went great. I didn't hear a single person complain. It's like, oh, this is lame. No, everyone had a great time. Everyone I talked to, but still, you look within for areas of improvement, as did me and the missus. I got a list here of stuff I want to improve for next time. Just like every time I watch an episode of this show, I see about a dozen things I wish I had done differently and things I'd like to do different. Like the background drives me crazy. I need to undo that. The microphone, you'll notice I replaced it because this is what the documentary guys use. So I'm like, all right, cool. I still don't like the audio, but I think that's my voice more than it is the microphone. The host, I'd like to do something about. So anyway, same thing for Hockey Day. Things that I want to change. Things that I would do different next time. Like, late at night testing out okay, how does it work with this camera and that camera and all that? Well, it's in the dark. And then when you're at the beer garden and then the shadows from different sun directions, like, should have thought of that. Anyway, the second lapel mic didn't work. I had to engineer a solution, had to clean it up. And I wasn't sure I was going to have something presentable, but I think it's presentable. I think it's worth listening to. And Mr. Ruskowski was very gracious with his time. And it was kind of Lance to Rosenberg to make that connection and make that introduction. So let's end the episode with by playing that interview for you. And a little preamble for Terry here. Two-time Houston Aeros WHA Avco Cup champion. He is the only hockey player to captain 4 professional teams. Goes on to be the inaugural coach of the IHL version of the Aeros. And of course, a Houston Hockey Hall of Fame member. And he was kind enough to sit down with me at Hockey Day. So hope you enjoy.
You were kind enough to be here 2 years ago for the first Hockey Day in Houston.
And I was amazed.
I was amazed too, right? Yeah. And to hear the organizers say they were expecting 500 people and got 4,000, that's a hell of a thing. I was wearing a shirt with that slogan that the House started saying, and then it got picked up by everybody else. Houston is a hockey town. And when I approached you in that autograph line, when you were here with the Stars, you read my shirt and you're like, yeah, I think so. So I know why I think so. I know why the viewers think so. But you've had a pro career that took you to many places. What makes Houston a hockey town?
It's a great question to ask, big guy. And I think just the people generally like people and sports organization. They work hard, put love this work, but they play that are acceptable to the fans. And I think they appreciate hard work and desire. And I think hockey, I'm not knocking any other sport, but I think hockey is it's the ability of that, of working hard and being successful. None of us got this. We never got the silver spoon. Like, oh, you're very high school, all of a sudden you're an enigma. We had to work for right off to get where we had to go. And I think we appreciate it more than anybody else. But you know what else? It's an exciting game. It's a moving game. If there's no whistles, it's consistent action, body shaming. There's even fighting sometimes. Ooh.
I know.
That's incredible. Makes the fans a little bit excited about that too.
It's a weird thing to comment on to people that have been around the game forever. But my introduction to hockey was you guys, and it was that first scrimmage y'all had when the roster was even set. And y'all had a public, learn about hockey thing. And that was the thing that blew me away. Y'all don't stop. Yeah. It's going over the boards. And I don't know, it just enthralled me that y'all just go over the boards and there's no whistles except for penalties.
Yeah. Stuff like that. But I watched the B1 TV last week, and a guy had a penalty before, and it's new rule now in NHL. If you come out, you have to play 4-on-4, but usually in overtime, you play 3-on-3. Well, for 5 minutes, there was no whistle. Philly played 4-on-4 for 5 minutes without a whistle. And I'm going, after the first time that I've ever seen that overtime, supposed to be 3-on-3, it was 4-on-4 because there was no whistles. There's constant action, back and forth. Good chances to score. Over here, good chances to score. And I think people like that, like the action, like that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So, can we talk a little bit about your playing career in Houston? What stands out to you as a highlight?
I think I said this last night in my speech that the coach brought us in and says, you're going to be fourth ice, no pressure, no stress, work hard, learn, listen and learn because you're a feature. It's exactly what happened. But the first 2 or 3 years, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. No pressure, we played hard. I said something, we weren't great players, but we were great people.
That's interesting.
Because we played together as a team.
I see.
Nobody had any animosity against anybody. Whoever scored, oh man, now he's ahead of me in scoring. That was never a factor It was glad for that guy to score, and everybody was happy for it. That's the kind of team we had. And you know what else I forgot to say yesterday in the speech is that the thing that really kind of got me going, whoa, what's going on here? I was 19 years old, and I'm playing against guys that are 32 years old, 33 years old, had run. This is kind of crazy. I never, I didn't know I could play against older guys like this and try to compete against them. But it was a challenge, and what's life without a challenge, right?
Right. Yeah. It's one of the things that gets overlooked. The WHA didn't have that age requirement
Nope.
that the NHL did.
No, and it was a little bit for me to get used to, but then for me to catch up and keep up with the guys, I had to work harder to keep up with the older guys because they were more mature, they were a little bit quicker, stronger, whatever, and it made me a better player.
Very good. Okay. So you had, let's see here. So forgive me for not having it memorized, but I don't have notes on me.
That's all right.
So from Houston, you went where?
Winnipeg, when we folded, Winnipeg bought everybody's rights. I guess they paid what I'm taking, or they paid Houston and some of money for the rights for the players. They picked the guys they wanted to come. But I mean, Winnipeg with the Jets, they didn't understand the hatred we had amongst each other. Winnipeg hated us. We hated Winnipeg because we were always battling for that championship. We both had really good teams. And it took a long time. It took a new coach to come into Winnipeg to trim around. We weren't going to make the playoffs with the talent that we had because we weren't playing as a team. Not like the Houston team that we had. We had talent, but we worked together as a team. It took a coach to come in there and kick our butts and say, they're going right direction. We got hot at the end of the season, and we ended up beating the Edmonton Oilers, Wayne Gretzky, and Messi and all. We beat them in 6 games in Winnipeg, and it was a thrill. But then the merger came through. And then Winnipeg could only protect 2 guys. And he protected Morris Vukovic and Scott Campbell, which was a good pick. Don't get me wrong, a good pick for 2 talented key players. Then the rest of us went back to the teams that actually drafted us in AHL.
Oh, I see. Okay. I wasn't sure how that worked. Okay. And then from Winnipeg, let's see here. I know you were with Chicago Mets. Okay. How was your experience there?
It was the first time that I would have played in the NHL, which everybody talks about. It's a great league. Let me emphasize one other thing. If it wasn't for the WA2, the players would have gotten one as they got. Okay. There's Bargain Bauer, well, and he was a bargain. How the players lined up paid somewhat what they should have paid before. But I think that was a training point for salary growing up. But going to Chicago, I had to prove myself. I proved myself in the WHA that I wasn't the best guy. I was great. I was probably a credit but I had to show that I didn't take any crap from anybody. And I had to go up there if you would actually when I played. I played with Rich Preston, with Clay Keeler, and we reached it. We went to Houston, Winnipeg together. We went to Chicago together. So we knew each other very well, playing wise. And another guy that played with us, it was called the RPM line. And we clicked like nobody. We clicked. We had such a great season, and I had to stick up for my nine-mate to myself, but I had to show that I was there and I was there to stay.
Okay. And then you had a long career out of that, and then you got into coaching.
I got into coaching. I always was fascinated by the coaching aspect, and I was in Pittsburgh playing with the Penguins. I played with Beard and Neil on the same line as kind of maybe great one of the best players in the world. But and then I had an offer to go to. I was a free agent to go to Minnesota, play 1 year, and then become assistant coach. Well, the 1 year there was Herb Brooks. In fact, on the Maple on Ice, he was my coach. Well, we had a lot of injuries. Yes, we didn't make playoffs, and the owners, fighters, everyone, the drill manager, the trainer, the coaches, everybody. So there went my opportunity to be an assistant coach and learn that way to be a head coach CHL. So they signed me for a 1 more year contract. Even play very much as kind of a good Lord is saying, okay, played all these years, defaulted some use and all this pain. Good to give me 1 later off. Do it the heck out of it. So I said I want to become coach and got the coach and taking in New Family, Major Junior in Hospital. And I think that is I try to get a little bit of really coached I like characteristics and how they did things. and I thought it was successful. So I tried to put that into what I was trying to do, and got turned out all right. After like 20 years approaching, and I think I missed the playoffs 3 times in some years, so we did pretty well.
That's pretty. That 3 times in 20 years is pretty fantastic. And you found your way to the IHL.
Yeah, leg hard. Well, I was coaching in Sunshine, and Glenn Hart was an icon fan, and Sunday played heroes that you got locked pretty wrong. He was the guy that said you interesting from to your coach. He's kidding me. So really, and we made the playoffs the first year. The second year, he had trouble. He had injuries, and it was Murphy's Law. It was did go long, and Kate didn't go very well that well. So like, I had to move on to a different place, and if it could Hawks for things deep, did pretty well here, but we had unnecessary problems. It was all stressful. I did it. King Glenhart came to the end, so we're starting a tune there. Laredo, Texas. Laredo, Texas. Where is that? First of all,
Fair question.
so he said, I want you to come down for a year before we start, and I want you to get to meet the people and I different know it was the best in there. That I got at every event. I talked about hockey, we did everything that we had to build. It was great. We had a new facility. I think the building they had 75%. I think we had 65 to 7,000 big in the made the first two, won the first one, lost the second now. We ranked the finals 4 times and won championships the other day, and 2 times. So that was the first time that Laredo's ever won anything. So they were really like the mayor. We had a little after winning the first championship. We had something in the ring, and she was saying San Francisco, we are the champions of the world. And somebody said, "This is the only Central Hockey League. That is our world."
Oh, fair point.
Yeah, that is our world. So the funny part is we had a parade, and we had a parade in Nuevo Laredo was right across the border because we had 300, 400 people from Nuevo Laredo, BC stakeholders. We had a station on there, little office, a lot of people. Well, we're going down Main Street waiting everybody, and everybody's going, who are these guys? Felt kind of stupid, but just kept on, hey, how you doing? Yeah.
You said 6,000, 7,000
Yes.
in Laredo.
In Laredo, Texas, we averaged like over 6,000 a game. We in our playoff game, we went 1 year we went 48 games, 48 wins, 8 losses, and 8 ties. That was our record. A team took us to 7 games. We were down 3 games to 1. We won in Shreveport, who came back, who won 6 games in Laredo, 7th game in overtime. Playoffs final. And everybody was going crazy. We had 8,200. We had 3,000 outside watching on a big screen. And we scored in overtime. And then the people crazy. People went crazy. We were inside celebrating aggressively, and they're still out there chanting us.
If you can do that in a small town like Laredo, there's no telling what we could bring here, right?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I understand that I've got tunnel vision, and I take everything back to Houston needs a pro team, and there's no reason we can't support it. But I mean, in my mind, you're just providing evidence that if it can be done in Laredo, it can be done
Anywhere.
indeed.
Especially here. We're talking a population of less than 100,000, and you're coming here to 10 million or 8 million or whatever it is, fourth largest city in the U.S. It can't help but get either. I still puzzle. Why isn't it here? Is there politics?
Yes.
I don't know. It just bugs the heck out of me.
Politics and billionaires playing games with each other. You know,
The bands, I tell you, the bands, one of the bands. Like, she was Minnesota when I helped. The coach was personally. And I coached him when I was here with the I team.
oh, you're not talking about Tippett, are you?
No, where I think he was my assistant,
Right.
but he was a player. He played when I was coaching in the Arrows. I played her like she was hurt, and then he became a coach of the Arrows, the Minnesota team here. We went to the finals. He asked me if I'd come in and work for the guys that didn't play or the guys who were injured to keep them in shape in case they need them for the playoffs. So absolutely, because I was living in Richard Rosenberry at that time.
Okay.
I see you open it. helped him. That story was great, and like it was great. That's American. That's not even NHL. American boy, wow. I can't because if somebody ever put a TV here in the it shocked the hockey world that it'd be so popular. I just know it.
I agree with you, and there's something in the air now. You know, it's like there's something building, there's something happening.
We talked 2 years ago. They expected 900 here and
Yeah.
about 4,000 here.
Yeah.
So yeah, there it's the bubble's there. We just got to break that bubble. We come out of this, do the thing. Oh, we're supposed to be done.
Indeed. So let's talk more about your time at the IHL. So you mentioned with the WHA, you were remembering that the team was more of a team and less individual players, which is interesting when you consider the names that were on that team.
Yeah.
What's the IHL? What stands out to you about your IHL experience?
It was a different kind of atmosphere.
Mhm.
It was, and I think maybe the downfall of this was we were getting guys that were coming down from the UHL to come to the party.
Mhm.
And I think that was a problem because their career was over. And when you have young kids coming up, they want to get to the NHL, they strive harder to get there. But when you're there coming down, the drive there is as thought it should be.
I see.
And that was a little bit different for me. You know, let me block that cut out of going in instead of, okay, I'm just here, help gets me. Where the young guys are going, come on, let's stop. I'm a day. Tired wasn't so the guys come on, you guys come out.
Yeah.
It was stupid hot. It was like Graham Townsend talked yesterday. He was one of my players. He talked yesterday. We said that first game, well, at one, he had 15,000. He scored it in ninth overtime. It was unbelievable.
I remember it well. Yeah.
And what did he say? He walked out it off the ice, walking off. I'm going. And I looked around and thought, this is what I want. This is what I like.
That's so great. Okay, well, I know there are a lot of demands on your time. Is there anything that you anything you have going on? Right now, or any message you want to say?
I just wanted to use people that a lot of these happen for mere reason to go away, hopefully. And I have great memories here. I just want to say that I had the best time of my life. Best time of my life. Like these okay, people ask me, and I don't care if like on the outlet or mixed group ask me to say you personally hate anytime. Where's the best place? They always think, well, you can go to their place. But I've busted bubble and I say, no, Houston is my favorite place to play. And most times that I sure the case.
That probably gets you a weird look.
Yeah, not a good one, by the way.
I'm sure.
I'm an honest
I
person.
appreciate that.
And I tell them the way it is. I don't shoot about it. I had the best time in Houston, Texas.
Fantastic. Terry, thank you so much. Oh, I wanted to give you something before you go.
Thanks.
So this is the whole reason my stupid little show exists. Right there. I miss the arrows. For the green and the blue, I'm going to hand that to you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your time. You've been very
Thank
gracious with your time. I
appreciate
hope you have fun today.
it.
And thanks for coming to our city.
Thanks for having me.
All righty. Well, thank you, sir. Terry Ruskowski, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir.